Rain tapped softly against the window that night when Sarah finally showed up at my door. Her face was pale, her eyes red, and for a moment I almost felt sorry for her. "Why, Sarah?" I asked, my voice trembling more from anger than pain. She stared at me, silent at first, then smirked. "You really want to know," she said. "Because you had everything I didn't. Jason. The house. The picture-perfect life. You never noticed how easy it was for you, Julie." I blinked, stunned. "You tried to destroy me for that?" She took a step closer, her tone sharp as glass. "Don't act innocent. You flaunted your happiness like it was some kind of trophy. You made me feel invisible. So I made sure you'd feel what I felt." Her words sliced through the air, cold and deliberate. I wanted to scream, to strike her, to make her feel even a fraction of the betrayal I felt. But I didn't. I just stood there, trembling. Then she said something that froze me completely. "He called your name in his sleep, Julie." The silence that followed was deafening. That was the night everything came full circle. But the truth had started long before that. They say real pain doesn't come from strangers. Comes from the ones who know where your heart lives. The ones who know where the key is hidden because you gave it to them. My name is Julie, and this is the story of how my best friend tried to ruin my marriage. Sarah and I had been best friends since college. We met when I spilled coffee on her presentation notes. She laughed it off and said, "Guess we're bonded by caffeine now." We were inseparable from that day. Years later I married Jason, a man I loved with every part of me. Sarah was my maid of honor, the sister I never had. When Jason opened his fitness studio in New Jersey, Sarah offered to help with the launch. She was family, at least that's what I believed. But somewhere along the way, envy began to fester in her heart. I didn't see it then, the way she lingered when Jason spoke, how she mirrored my habits, how she always found a reason to be around us. She started small, planting seeds of doubt in places she knew they'd grow. "Jason worries about you," she'd say casually. "He feels like you've been distant lately." Sometimes she would say, "Julie, maybe don't work so late tonight. Jason seems lonely." Thought she cared. I thought she was protecting my marriage. But she was slowly twisting everything. She sold me a lie disguised as advice. "I can't miss investment," she said. Her company vetted it. Mark was hesitant. Convinced him. We lost $12,000. Julie cried harder than I did. Played the victim, the friend who meant well. But in Jason's eyes, something shifted. He didn't blame her. He blamed me. Then came the dinner party. Jason's boss and his wife. Everything had to be perfect. Julie insisted on bringing dessert. Midway through dinner, the boss's wife started coughing violently, her throat closing, eyes watering. The dessert had nuts, her known allergy. Julie froze, then rescued her with water, gasping, "Oh my God, I had no idea." But she did know. Told her twice. That night Mark's face was stone. He said, "You should have double-checked. She could have died." Julie stood behind him, hand on his shoulder, comforting him. I didn't sleep that night. Or the one after. One night Jason came home furious. He threw his phone on the table and said, "Who's Eric?" I froze. "What are you talking about?" He showed me screenshots, messages between me and some man I'd never met. Flirty, intimate, personal. Except they weren't mine. Someone had used my name, my photos, my voice patterns. And that someone was Sarah. I didn't know it then, but she had created an entire fake text history and sent it to Jason by accident. When I confronted her, she acted hurt. "Julie, you think I'd ever do that to you? Someone's trying to ruin you. Let me help." And like a fool I believed her. But the damage was already done. Jason began pulling away. He stopped touching me, stopped talking at dinner. Laughter left our home, replaced by long silences and second-guessing. The worst part. His daughter Lila started avoiding me. "Sweetheart," I said one night, "did I do something wrong?" She wouldn't look at me. "Miss Sarah said you might not want to be my mommy anymore." My heart broke right there. I wanted to tell her it wasn't true, but she ran to her room before I could speak. That night, I sat in the dark, listening to the rain, wondering how everything had fallen apart so fast. Weeks later, while cleaning the home office, I found an old flash drive labeled studio photos. I smiled, thinking it was from Jason's gym opening. Plugged it in. Inside, among the folders, was one labeled private. I hesitated, but curiosity won. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. Hundreds of screenshots, fake text threads, doctored emails, all of them designed to make me look guilty. And at the bottom, one video file. Click play. The video opened on my own living room. Sarah was there, with my stepdaughter Lila. Sarah's voice was calm, coaxing. "Say Mommy said she doesn't love Daddy anymore." Lila looked confused. "But Mommy does love Daddy." Sarah's smile hardened. "Just say it, honey. It's a game." I froze. My chest tightened. Then I screamed, a sound that ripped out of me before I could stop it. It was raw and wild. The kind of scream that empties your soul. And when it was over, there was only silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. That was the moment I realized who my enemy really was. Not some stranger on the internet. Not a rumor. My best friend. I sent the video to Jason that night. No words, no explanation. Just the truth. He didn't reply for hours. When he finally came home the next morning, his eyes were bloodshot. "I confronted her," he said quietly. "She admitted everything." He showed me a recording. His voice in the background of that same video. He'd been there the night Sarah tried to manipulate Lila. He'd seen her lies unravel in real time. Sarah had tried to cover her tracks, to turn us against each other one last time, but it was too late. When I faced her the next day, she was still unapologetic, still proud, like betrayal was something she could justify. "You'll forgive me one day," she whispered. "You need me." I looked her dead in the eye. "No, Sarah. I needed a friend. You gave me a nightmare." I walked away. The door slammed behind me. And for the first time in months, I felt something close to peace. Jason and I are still rebuilding what she tried to destroy. It's slow, but there's hope. Some nights, when the house is quiet and the rain starts again, I remember that scream, the moment everything shattered. Lila curls up beside me on the couch. "Mommy," she whispers. "Are we okay now?" I smiled, brushing her hair from her face. "We will be, baby. We will be." One morning I heard a knock on our door. When I opened the door, it was Sarah. She looked so pale and sorry. She apologized for all the hurt she made me feel. She said, "You were the only true friend I had, and I destroyed our friendship." She told me how she have lost everything, and how her boyfriend left her for another lady. At first I felt sorry for her, but I said softly while being very firm, "You have no place here, Sarah." The thunder rolls softly in the distance, like a warning that peace never lasts forever. Because betrayal never really ends. It just sleeps until someone wakes it. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come with thunder. Comes with a smile, and a spare key. I lost my trust. I lost my peace. But I found something stronger, the courage to close the door and walk away. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you called family, you're not alone. This is Zima Stories, where every emotion finds its voice. If you find this story interesting, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.